Hello to all the felters and crafters and art lovers out there. Welcome to my channel, and as you can see this cute Christmas mouse. In this video I'm going to show you how I made it. I used the needle felting technique, and I've used polymer clay for the tiny hands and feet, and if you would be kind enough to watch the whole video, you'll learn how I made them, how I shaped the hands and feet, and how I attached them to the mouse. Hope you enjoyed. Let's get started. So, starting off with the pipe cleaner, and you have to divide it into three portions: the head, the body, and the tail. And the rest of it, I'm going to cut off and make the arms of it. So, I've measured out around 1.5 inch and bended it to make the head, and that's around 4 centimeters. And the body is 8 centimeters, at the double the head, and then around the same length for the tail. And I'm going to cut off the rest of it and make arms of it. I'm just going to fold it over in half and give it a twist a bit under the head, so where the shoulders are going to be, just giving it a twist, and it has to be in the opposite direction so it stays, and they have to be the same length. So just twisted them over. This is the tail, and I'm going to take another pipe cleaner and make the feet. Just going to twist them over just as I did with the arms, and then I'm going to cover the whole armature with Cordell sliver, and it's easier to work with slivers as they come in strips, and you can take little at a time and just roll it over the armature, whatever you're making it with, the wire or the pipe cleaners. You can double the pipe cleaners if you want a stronger armature, but once all the wool has been added, it's kind of solid. I'm adding more wool and shaping the head, and you've got the point where the nose is going to be, so you just have to build on that and shape the head and figure out where the eyes are going to be. So I'm just giving it a squeeze. You have to go across with your wool on the thighs and on the chest part, and just take it over and under the limbs, just to get the shape right. And keep adding wool. You can make a fat mouse if you want, and just keep adding wool a little at a time so we know where we are going. I'm shaping the mouth, the area just under the nose, and I've taken some wool and rolled it into an oval shape, and I'm just stabbing it down and shaping it so I get a rounded mouth just under the nose, so you can see the shape taking form. Using my owl tool and scissor, making holes for the eyes, and as you've shaped the mouth and the nose so you know exactly where the eyes are going to be. And then I've glued them in. I'm adding more wool around the cheeks and little pieces of wool around the eyes that form the lids. For the tiny little hands, I'm rolling polymer clay in my palms and get the thickness you want and just fold it over. That forms two little fingers. And taking another piece of polymer clay and rolling it again just to get around the same size. And these are going to be the thumb and the small finger. So you have to fold it over and place it like the thumb would be, and just roll over the rest of it and press it, and that forms the palm. And you have to make sure that you got the thumbs on opposite sides, and they should be around the same size, just shaping them until I'm happy with the size and the shape. So you get little palms and very tiny little fingers or toes. Toes, the feet are going to be made the same way. So just placing them on the mouse just to see if I've got the size right. I'm going to show you once again how I made the little hands, and just roll some polymer clay, and you see the ends of the part you roll make pointy ends, and just put the ends together and they are going to form the tips of the fingers. And do another one, another strand. You can add it and squeeze it in position so it becomes a little thumb, and the rest of it becomes the palm of the hand, and you can just shape it. There you go, tiny little hands. And as I have to attach them to my sculpture, I'm going to form two little rings, kind of a bracelet, so I can just slip it on and wrap wool around it. So I'm taken a little part of polymer clay and made a little ring, so this gets it easier onto the armature. And once it's baked, it's going to be hard, and I'm just going to glue it on. For the nose, I've put polymer clay onto the pointy end where the nose has to be, and then I'm shaping it right onto the sculpture. And once it's shaped, I'm going to bake it. So I'm using my silicone tool to get a nice shape of the nose. And I'm going to shape it further with the dotter tool. It's a tool you make dots with, so it has a rounded end. Little balls at the end of it, so you get the nostrils right. So once I'm happy with the nose, I'm going to take it off and bake it. I'm making the feet with exactly the same method I did the hands with, and they are going to be a bit thicker and a bit bigger than the hands, and it's the same way. I'm just turning them the other way around so they're pointing downwards. I'm making a ring on the opposite side so we can just slip it on from underneath. So they're like two little shoes, but once the ring is covered with wool, they won't show. As I have mentioned earlier, that I'm self-taught, and with every project I try to do things um, however I think is possible to do. So I haven't had any training or haven't had any classes, so I don't know if this is the wrong way of doing it or the right way, but it has worked for me, and I'm sharing it with you. So these are the feet, and once they're baked, they'll be easy to slip on. I'm sure there are many better ways of doing it out there, and the more professional people will teach them differently. But I'm just sharing what I have learned, and I just look at the picture and try to make something like a picture of mouse and everything else, the hat and the Christmas pudding is all my own imagination. As you can see, I'm laying down the colors and giving some different shades of brown, a little lighter on the front, darker at the back, and more lighter on the face and the muzzle. And here I'm shaping the mouth, just placing some wool, and I'm felting it right onto the sculpture and shaping it over there so I get the size right. And just as you paint a picture, you have to blend in the colors. So a little lighter around the edges of the eyes, and a very thin layer right underneath it. So my little polymer clay hands and feet are baked now and ready to put on. I'm just placing them and seeing how they look. I'm using all-purpose glue. You can use super glue if you need, and I think it works fine. So just put glue on the sculpture as well as the feet. I'm just slipping them on to let it dry. In the same way, I'm going to do the hands. The little nose is baked as well, and I'm putting it on with some glue. While that dries, I'm putting the wool around the hands, and I'm using some glue because the polymer clay, it can't, the needle can't penetrate that, so I have to stick some wool around it just to cover the rings that I had made of clay. And once it hides completely, I'm felting around it. So it looks neater and you don't see the rings of clay with just the fingers. As the nose is in place, now I can add color around it. and play with different shades around the nose. I've rolled some carded wool around the pipe cleaner that was sticking out as the tail, and it was a bit smaller than I wanted it to be. So I'm just rolling on some more wool and giving it an extension of wool itself. So the wool part is a bit longer than the pipe cleaner, and I get the length I need. Now for the hat, I'm using a red colored wool, and mine is carded. I got it from World of Wool. It's a really nice bright red color, and I'm just felting it flat and putting it around the head to get the size right. Then I'm going to shape it. It does look a bit tricky, and you can see just my fingers moving around because I just went round and round around the head and tried to cover the whole head area, and then I'm going to shape. And I've taken a thick layer of wool, and I'm felting it right into the the head, like vertically, so I get the folds of the hat right. And it was too long, chopped off the end, but I've got some really good folds that are nice and thick, and they're firm. So felting it down, like stabbing it vertically down, I got the shape of the folds, and as I was using thick layer, I got them really nicely done. Now the tip, and there was a bit at the back that showed the skin of the mouse, so I've added some more wool. To make the rim of the hat, I'm using a very light grape fluffy wool, and this was the lightest color I had, so I'm using it as my white wool wasn't so fluffy and I like the texture. So I'm just stabbing it down randomly, but keeping the thickness in mind that this is the rim, so I'm not going overboard with it, so it's forming a kind of a ring around the hat. As you can see, I'm just stabbing it down. For the little pom-pom, for the tip of the hat, I'm just rolling some wool between my fingers and taking them out. I'm going to tie them tightly right in the center of it. And cut around both the edges, and you get a little pom-pom. And you can felt it, as it's the fluffy wool, it's easily felted too. So I'm just attaching it with my needle at the tip of the hat. So these are the tiny details that make all the difference in the look of your sculptures. Going all around so it's nice and securely attached. For the ears, I'm using a felt sheet and just seeing how big the ears I want. They can be big as you could because you can always cut them smaller. So I'm cutting one and then I'm going to make another one of the same size. So yeah, that seems right. Now I've made two of them, and I know you're supposed to use the powder pastels, and but they are very expensive, so I'm just using my own makeup kit and giving the ears some shades. Now I'm placing them with pins so I know exactly where to attach them. For the little scarf around the neck, I'm using the same wool I used for the hat, and I've got a strip that's long enough to go around the neck, and I'm folding in the edges first, felting it down loosely, and then I'm going to attach and make it neater on the mouse. Trying to get the folds and the edges neater. I felt like the mouth needed some more wool, so I'm just attaching some more of the fawn color that I used. And there was a little patch that needed more wool, so I'm touching that. For the Christmas pudding, I'm taking carded dark brown wool, and I'm just felting it down into a ball. And for a ball, you have to keep rotating your wool to get a nice circular finish. And this is the icing on top. I'm just shaping it around the edges first. For the tiny leaves that are going to be on top of the pudding, I'm using a green felted sheet, and you can decorate it as you wish. I'm just going to cut the tiny leaves and place them on the pudding, and then just going to stab them down. For the cherries, I'm rolling a little piece of wool in my fingers and rolled it into a little ball, and then I'm going to attach it. So I've got 3 little cherries, and I'm going to glue the hands around. I'm giving the same rim I gave to the hat to the little scarf as well. So this is the little mouse all done, and I'm really pleased with it, and I hope you like it too. It's really sweet, and holding a little Christmas pudding and can be a really nice gift for someone. Just to add a little more detail, I'm using fishing wire for the whiskers, and I've got a piece that is long enough. And you can always start with longer ones so you can trim them later. I'm using my owl tool to make a hole, and just a hole that is visible so I know where to put the whisker in. And I'm going to put some glue on the tip and just push it in the hole. And I'm not going to add too many whiskers, just 3 on either side. Using my pin just to push it in. And it's going to hold. With these little details, my mouse is complete, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please do subscribe and support my channel so I can make more videos for you. And thank you very much for watching.